400. Okay, now we can go as scheduled with the town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, I'll have to start the report on a sad note by acknowledging the passing of longtime Tyngsborough resident Joanne Roy. Joanne grew up in Tyngsborough on Lake Muscuppick and has lived there her whole life. She lived there with her sister Susan, and both are staples here at Town Hall and the library. If you've been to Town Hall or the library on a Thursday, most likely you've met them. They're always spreading well wishes. They remember everyone's birthday, and in true townie fashion, they were the most honest source of feedback on all things happening in town. There will be a graveside ceremony at 10 a.m. on Wednesday at Memorial Cemetery, and I know that the place will be packed with staff from Town Hall and the library who had the pleasure of knowing her. In fact, the library will open 2 hours late on Wednesday so that all the staff can attend. So my thoughts are with Susan in this difficult time. On a more exciting note, we formally launched this morning the Tyngsborough Civic Leadership Academy, which I've soft launched in previous town manager reports. The program is a collaboration with our office and Tyngsborough Media. The program will run from August 18th through October 16th with a short graduation ceremony at the start of the October 22nd special town meeting. The class will meet weekly on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 at various locations across town, depending on the topic. We are finalizing the course syllabus now, but each class will be co-taught by a department head with a focus on their department, how it's funded, how it operates, and the ways that we're working toward creating efficiencies within the department. The goal here is to bring more residents into the fold by giving a baseline understanding of local government so they're comfortable asking questions and making suggestions for increased efficiency. The application is available online and will be available until August 1st. Because our goal is to get new people into the mix, we are giving priority to folks who haven't served on a board or committee yet, but we will accept applications from any Tyngsborough resident or business owner. It is the top story on tyngsboroughma.gov, and as of right now, we've received already 3 applications. So people are very excited. I'm happy to share that following a competitive procurement process, we've awarded a contract to Sunshine Paving Corporation for the Phase 1 work on the Sherburne Ave Rex parcel that was donated by the Toll Brothers. The work will include pickleball courts, walking paths, bocce courts, horseshoe pits, a pitch and putt, and shuffleboard courts. It will also include basketball courts. We finalized the contract last week and are working now to finish the schedule. Relative to that project, last week we issued an invitation to bid for the construction of the pavilion on that site. It's a 2-part contract. One will be for the concrete and footing work, and one is for the actual construction of the pavilion. This will allow us to at least award the concrete work if funding doesn't permit us to also award the contract for the construction at the same time. We do have a pending Housing Choice Grant application for $400,000 to support that work and are awaiting information from Lowell 5 about a donation toward the work being done on that parcel. We are hoping to be able to utilize the external funding sources and avoid asking the CPC for additional funding. Also last week, I awarded a contract to BME Strategies out of North Andover for grant management services for the Board of Health's Public Excellence Regional Grant and to Newport Construction for the purchase of the bituminous concrete by our Highway Department. I just want to note on the Public Health Excellence Grant, this is now our 4th year with the grant. Every year we get about $350,000. This year it's closer to $400,000, and we've really been able to scale up the services that our Board of Health provides, as well as the neighboring communities, Tewksbury, Barica, and Chelmsford. It's a fantastic program. Our Board of Health is putting out new programs all the time, so folks should really visit our website and also the Board of Health's Facebook page. A lot more on the social services front, the awareness and the education piece, and largely that's all funded by this grant, which has also helped us hire some additional staff. A copy of the town's aggregation report was included in the board's correspondence this evening. Of note, in Q1 of 2024, consumers on the town's aggregation have saved nearly $350,000 when you compare it to those who are on National Grid's basic rate. We're locked into that contract until November, and so I imagine sometime in August or early September we'll start getting some indicative pricing from Constellation Energy, or Colonial Power, about where we might be in November. But if folks haven't joined the aggregation or are holding out, you can opt in at any time. There's a link prominently displayed on our website for folks to sign up. At the board's request, I reached out to National Grid to ask that they appear before the select board, either at your last meeting in July or first meeting in August, to talk about the ways that they're working to prevent future large-scale power outages and to talk about some of the more frequent outages that we've had this past year. It's looking like they'll probably attend your first August meeting. We're just waiting on a couple higher-ups at National Grid to confirm. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Thomas Collins, Mr. Collins is the local Eagle Scout that this board authorized to construct a small fitness system at Riverfront Park. His project was completed last month. It looks great. It's a great addition to the park. I did test it out, and while I was only able to do 3 pull-ups, it will make a great workout system for folks in better shape. He also donated $400 that was raised for the project that he didn't spend to our rec committee, so we appreciate his support of our recreation programs. I wanted to congratulate Greater Lowell Tech on being awarded a $480,000 Career Technical Initiative grant from the Commonwealth. These funds will allow Greater Lowell to provide training and placement services to 60 underemployed or unemployed individuals in our community in the electrical, welding, and carpentry fields. The private partners on this program include Gaspari Inc., Medford Wellington Service, Lowell Iron and Steel, Neshoba Building and Remodeling, Short Circuit Electric, Middlesex 3, and BC Electrical Services. And then finally, I was happy to join Linda Bound on City Life last week. We had a great conversation about the many things that are happening here in Tyngsborough. Linda needs no introduction in town. She's a longtime volunteer. It was a great show. You can catch it on City Life's Facebook page if you missed it by some chance. But I'm always happy to talk about what is happening here in Tyngsborough and anyone who will listen. That's all I got.
Excellent. Thank you for that complete update. I will open it up to the board for questions or comments. Anybody want to start?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we've had a lot of outages, and it's great that we finally get National Grid to come in front of us. There's going to be a lot of people very interested in that discussion. There's been many outages, even more small outages than I can ever remember just recently, and some longer outages. So the outages have definitely increased significantly. But, for our town manager, if you could please ask them to bring in the stats,
Yep.
if you could. I'd like to really see from their perspective what exactly, and actually, show the residents what exactly the number of outages that we've been having recently. And I know they have all that information. So that would be great to see, and then what they're doing to actually try to reduce the number of outages. The west side of the river, there was many long outages for a long time, and, they did a lot of tree cutting was one of the things they did. They did a few other things to upgrade, the service. So I'm hoping they come with a few things that they're planning to do to help us out here, because it's really kind of gotten to a point, everybody's getting very frustrated. The second thing I want to say is the aggregation report. So last year, we saved the residents in total $350,000. This is a third or fourth year, maybe longer. So, it's been well over $1 million, maybe $1.5 million that we've saved the residents just by doing this one thing, doing the aggregation for everybody in town, and the residents don't have to do anything. So the administration just takes care of it, brings it forward to us, and it's been a great program. As everybody's, having issues, day-to-day expenses, it's great to know that at least your electrical rate is lower than it could be. Thank you.
Anyone else? Select Person Gilfus?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. I relish your reports. I think it's a really nice way to get a snapshot of what's going on. And even though we were together 2 weeks ago, it just shows, how much work is being done and the value that the community is getting out of all of this. So the couple of things that I made note about, I am jealous and want to participate in the Civic Leadership Academy. I recognize why we are prioritizing people who have not been serving previously. I would like to be involved, so maybe something to consider about providing the syllabus or materials after the fact.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Or potentially, if you're just going to keep running it, then there will be time for all of us. I also met with Colin today about the Community Choice Power Supply program because I was not familiar with it, and I was delighted to find out that I am a part of that program and saving money. So again, thank you. Yeah, and looking forward to hearing from National Grid. There was yet again another power outage since our last meeting, and I saw folks talking about it on Facebook. So I think probably once we get the date finalized, maybe I'll drop a note on the Facebook group just to let people know and have them tune in or join us.
Thank you.
Echo what the last two folks have said. In speaking to people as I go around town, the number one question I get is about why we have so darn many outages. So it is a point of contention with a lot of folks, and the sooner we get answers from National Grid, the better. If it's if it's our problem, if it's a traffic problem, if somebody hits a light pole or whatever, fine, then we'll deal with that. But if there's anything other than that, I'd love to hear, as a committee member Cohane said, I'd like to hear what they're going to do and how they're going to make our life a little bit better. Second question I have is in relation to the Sherburne recreation property. What is the scope of Phase 1 work?
The Phase 1 work is just all of the sport amenities that I mentioned. We had originally hoped to include volleyball courts. Unfortunately, the budget didn't allow it, so that's the only item that was talked about as part of Phase 1 that didn't make it, but all the other sport amenities were included.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Phase 2 would be new amenities as money allow. I know we have a founding member, I guess I'd say, of the Sherburne Road Committee here. But Phase 1, I think, was what was most talked about, and we were able to include all of the amenities with the exception of volleyball courts this round.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, so
Yep.
we didn't include the volleyball court, but the one that we were kind of on the fence about was really the basketball court. And that was possibly going to be in Phase 2. But the more we started really looking into it, what we decided as a committee is that, all the equipment is going to be there for the pickleball courts. It's the same equipment that's needed for the basketball courts. So to gain some efficiencies, let's do the basketball court now. And then when the bids came in, we can, we realized that we didn't have enough money for the volleyball court, so we can move that off into Phase 2. We were very clear with everybody. This was definitely a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 project. Just want to make sure everybody realized that, and I'll say the Sherburne Committee is super excited, off the charts excited, can't wait to see this breaking ground, and hopefully we have a groundbreaking ceremony for our new recreation facility also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so a couple things. One, I'm glad that you discussed phasing of the Sherburne. I think it's really important. I think it's important for us to phase things in because people are going to have to get used to it. I think we're going to have to figure out how we help keep it up. I think it's going to be incumbent upon residents to help keep things clean. Sometimes there have been situations at the elementary school with the basketball courts, and I don't want to say it, but we need to have nice things, and we need to be able to keep them up. And so I think this will allow us to kind of work our way into some of those. So the town is spending a good amount of money on this, and I think it's a fantastic facility. I think it's going to be great. Let's just make sure that everybody understands that our small town, we need to take care of those items. Relative to the electric, I thought everybody was opted in the last time, and then you really had to opt out because we had this big problem the last time we negotiated, and it actually cost us money or it cost some residents money because there was a relatively small, I think it was like 20-25% of the people that were not opted in, and so this time everybody was in. When we look to renegotiate, I'd like to understand who isn't in. Is it 5%? Where are we at on that? Because I think it's a fantastic program. I think you look at other towns and they're catching on, and it's worked out fantastic for us, and it's a big success. I don't know whose idea it was originally, but it was a fantastic idea, and I love it. So when we get to that, I would like to see what some of those are. I think the rest of it, I think this is a lot of great stuff going on. I did hear perhaps a volunteer for somebody who might want to help out with the Civic Academy. Someone who's already been an elected official, and maybe
Very
I thought I heard something in there. So, and if there's anything that we can do to help support you and Roni on this, because I think it's a fantastic program. I think that there's a lot of folks who perhaps they have time to be involved. They're spending their time on social media, and they want to know. This may give them, a better way to help understand how things run and how they can help and impact things positively. So I think this is great. I do think that people should know that we've already got applicants and space will fill up, so don't wait. If you're on the fence about it, sign up. I think it'll be a great opportunity for some folks. So thank you for the detailed explanation. I think there's some additional items for other projects that you're gonna have updated on the website as well.
Yes.
So you look at these and you think, wow, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, but there's even more that's happening. So, there's things that are happening at the center of town. There's the bicentennial irrigation, there's the police station. There's a lot of things that are happening. So I think if we can put those online and point people to those, I think it's great. There's a lot of really good things happening, and so residents should try to keep abreast of what's going on. So thank you for the updates. With that, I guess, yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes, please.
Two questions that you made me think of while you were remarking. So one was, if people are not enrolled in the energy program, are we able to engage them and either remind them of the benefit or ask them why they opted out? Or is that kind of like, you've opted out and we should respect that?
Every time we do every time we renew the contract, by the agreement we have with Colonial Power, they send a notice to people who are not enrolled saying, hey, this is your chance. And there are some people who have very good reasons for opting out, whether they've competitively procured their own agreement, they've got some other electrical arrangement going on. We don't get a list of consumers that are not on it. They send it through National Grid. And the only feedback I've heard, when we first started this, it was, this sounds too good to be true. You get a letter in the mail that says, hey, we'll give you your energy cheaper, National Grid will continue to deliver it, you don't have to do anything. In a day and age where scams are all over the place, that was one reason, which I think we've overcome through some of the efforts that Eric mentioned. And then the second reason is that they've gone out and and some people very seriously competitively procure their own aggregation. It's like a sport. But yes, every time we renew the contract, folks that are not already enrolled, the agreement requires that they get another notice saying they can opt in.
Lovely. And also for the Civic Academy, how are we engaging folks to solicit applications?
Sure. Right now it is, unfortunately, the Neighbor to Neighbor is on its summer vacation and it won't return until after the publication is over, but it's on our social media. It's posted at the Council on Aging. I don't know if it's yet posted in the library, but we certainly will make sure that it is.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Excellent. And I will also echo that I'm interested in having National Grid come in. I know they have the stats because they have to report them to the state. And I think it'd be important for them to share those with folks and see where we compare with others. I know that there are some challenges, particularly on the Westford side, because there may be equipment that's in Westford that impacts us. But I think having that will help a lot of people, and we will definitely make sure that folks know when we're going to have that meeting, and hopefully there'll be a room full of folks, and I promise we'll make it towards the beginning of the meeting so that they don't have to sit through our entire meeting.